final step in cellular respiration to produce the max ATP possible from one glucose is oxidative phosphorylation. There are two parts to oxidative phosphorylation: the ETC, or Electron Transport Chain, and the ATP synthase. In this video, I'll just be explaining what the ETC is. So essentially, the Electron Transport Chain is a set pathway from which electrons travel through to funnel across hydrogen ions into the intermembrane space of the mitochondria. Remember all of those NADHs and FADH2s that was produced in the glycolysis and citric acid cycles? Well, they were all made to carry as many electrons as possible to the ETC. So the goal of the electron transport chain is not to create ATP itself, but to actively transport hydrogen ions from the inside of the mitochondria into the intermembrane space using the electrons. This is paramount, as I'll explain in the next video, talking about the ATP synthase. So in more detail and visuals, the electron carriers NADH and FADH2 release their electrons at the very start of the electron transport chain. And since they released an electron, they become NAD+ and FAD again. So now that there are electrons in the electron transport chain, what they do is move through a series of protein complexes and located on the inner membrane of the mitochondria. So they just follow a set path, come out, and they are drawn through the electron transport chain by an oxygen, and combined with some hydrogen ions, it creates H2O, or water. So as the electrons move across each protein complex, hydrogen ions, more of them, are shuttled across into the intermembrane space until there are there's a lot more hydrogen ions than on the other side of the membrane, which means that it has a higher concentration. And this difference in concentration means that the hydrogen ions want to come across the membrane and try to equalize the amount of hydrogen ions on both sides. And so this is called a favorable proton gradient, and it is needed by the ATP synthase to create ATP.